Welcome to The Explainer. Have you ever had that little thought in the back of your mind, worrying about becoming frail as you get older? Well, today, we're not just going to worry about it. We're going to build the blueprint to make sure that doesn't happen. We are focusing on your long-term strength, and we're going to start by tackling a condition that, honestly, quietly affects millions.
So let's just start with a really critical question for your future health. Are your bones and your muscles actually on the same team? Because for a whole lot of people, there's this silent disconnect happening inside their bodies, and it leads to a condition that you've probably never even heard of, but you absolutely need to know about it. And that condition is called osteosarcopenia. Seriously, just think of it as double trouble for your body. It's like fighting a two-front battle against aging, and if you want to win, you first have to understand what you're up against.
So what is it exactly? Well, osteosarcopenia is when you have a decline in both your bone mass and your muscle mass, and it's happening at the same time. Now, this combo is particularly dangerous, and here's why. Weaker muscles make you much more likely to fall, and weaker bones make you much more likely to have a serious fracture when you fall. See the problem?
Okay, so how do we fight back? How do we push back against this? We're going to start by powering up the engine of your body, your muscles.
And you know what? The research on this is incredibly clear. The solution isn't some complex hidden secret. It's a really powerful two-part strategy. You need high-quality protein to act as the building blocks, and then you need resistance training to actually put those blocks to work. One without the other, it just doesn't cut it. They have to work together.
So what does enough protein really look like in the real world? Well, for a 180-pound person, modern guidelines suggest a minimum of 98 grams a day. And let me be really clear about this. This is not some goal for professional bodybuilders. This is the baseline just to maintain the muscle you already have as you get older. But, and this is a big but, not all protein is created equal. Animal proteins, they're typically what we call complete. That just means they have all 9 of the essential amino acids. Those are the fundamental building blocks your body literally cannot make on its own. Now, many plant proteins are incomplete, but don't worry, there are some absolutely fantastic exceptions to that rule.
All right, here are some of the heavy hitters. You can see things like chicken breast, salmon, even Greek yogurt. They all provide a really dense, complete source of protein. And the humble egg, people in the know often call it the gold standard for protein quality. It's just that good.
And listen, you can absolutely thrive on plant-based options. I mean, just look at the protein in something like tempeh or hemp seeds. These are powerhouse plant sources that also give you that full suite of essential amino acids, which makes them excellent choices for building and maintaining muscle. Now, let's say you want to supercharge your resistance training. If that's you, then creatine is one of the most studied, most effective supplements on the entire planet. Just taking a small amount, 3 to 5 grams a day, has been shown over and over again to significantly enhance the muscle and strength gains you get from your workouts. It's a safe, effective boost.
Okay, so our muscles are fueled up and ready to go. Now let's tackle the other half of this equation. We need to fortify the very framework those muscles attach to, your bones.
This quote just perfectly captures a massive misconception about bone health. For decades, the advice was just so simple: take more calcium. But here's the thing. Without the right workers on the job site, that calcium doesn't actually get to your bones. Instead, it can end up in places you really don't want it, like your arteries. So the right way to think about it is like a perfectly managed construction project, okay? Calcium, that's your raw material, the bricks and lumber. Vitamin D is the gatekeeper. It's the guy who unlocks the gate and lets the calcium into the bloodstream. And then, most critically, you've got vitamin K2. He's the traffic controller, directing all that calcium to the exact job site where it needs to go. And this is why vitamin K2 is the real unsung hero of this story. It does 2 critical jobs. First, it activates a protein that acts like mortar, binding calcium directly to your bone matrix. Then, it activates another protein that acts like a security guard, preventing that same calcium from building up and hardening your arteries. It literally puts calcium where you need it and keeps it away from where you don't. Amazing, right? But hey, even our main team needs a good support crew. Magnesium is essential. It's needed to even activate vitamin D, and it's also a physical part of your bone structure itself. And potassium? It's vital for neutralizing acids in your body that can otherwise just leach calcium right out of your bones. They are absolutely indispensable teammates.
All right, so we've got the science down, but how do we translate this into a practical shopping list? What does this actually look like when you're walking down the aisles of the grocery store?
This is a perfect example of what experts call food synergy.
Just notice how some of these foods are incredible multitaskers, right? Sardines give you both calcium and vitamin D. Spinach delivers both magnesium and potassium. You see, eating these whole, nutrient-dense foods is by far the most efficient strategy.
Now, I want to make a really practical point here. Even if you have an excellent, super healthy diet, it can be really tough to get the optimal amounts of magnesium and especially vitamin K2. Our modern diets just aren't that rich in them anymore, and that's where a targeted supplement can be a really smart move to, just bridge that nutritional gap.
And if you are thinking about supplements, this chart gives you the key info. For vitamin K2, you'll see the MK7 form is generally what's recommended because it lasts longer in the body. And this part is absolutely non-negotiable, you must talk to your doctor before you start any new supplement regimen. That's especially true if you're on other medications.
Okay, we have covered a lot of ground, right? From muscle engines to bone frameworks. So let's pull this all together into a simple, actionable blueprint that you can start using literally today. So, when you boil it all down, it comes to the simple 3-point plan. Number 1, fuel your muscles with protein and then challenge them with some kind of resistance exercise. Number 2, make sure you assemble the full bone team. Don't ever let calcium go to work alone. And number 3, build your diet around those powerhouse foods we talked about and then intelligently fill any gaps.
And that brings us to the final, and I think the most important question. Look, this isn't about doing a complete life overhaul overnight. It's about laying one solid brick for your future self. So, looking at this blueprint, what's the first brick you're going to lay today? Is it adding a protein-rich food to your next meal? Maybe just going for a walk with some light weights? The choice is yours.